Hello, welcome. This is a slightly different setup and it's a little bit echoey in this room, so I really hope the audio sounds okay. The reason why I'm filming in this scene is because I have packed up my office and it is already in the new house, and currently this is the only room that still has something to sit on, which is my bed. Everything else has pretty much moved out. The year has come to an end and I thought it would be a really good chance to reflect on everything that I've made this year, and because I haven't got them physically with me because they are bagged up and in various boxes, I thought we would rank them and discuss as we do that. This is my tier and we have all the things that I've made. I'm going to rank them based on the best ones, which are 10 out of 10. Then the ones that are really good but I've just never worn them and they've never seen the light of day. The mid sort of tier, which is I see the vision but it's just not really working. The next tier, which is okay, which is just kind of, what was I thinking, you know? It's just not really that great. And then the last one, which is just frog it, get rid. There's no point in fixing it, just either frog it or get rid. Okay, going straight in with the first thing that I made in January is this striped maxi dress, which was a commission, I believe. Because it's not for me to wear anyways, I'm just gonna pop it into never seen the light of day. I love these maxi dresses. I've made a few of these and sold them. I have one that I've kept myself. I make them on my knitting machine, although I haven't touched that machine in a while, but I think this is a nice project. Then I also finished a whip from the year before actually, which is this striped scarf. It is super long. I wanted a chunky scarf, however I've never worn it, and the reason for that is that I should have created a rib pattern rather than knitting and stockinette, because now the scarf sort of curves in on itself and it's quite heavy but it still doesn't really lay the correct way. So I'm going to put this into, I see the vision, like it's a nice project, I like the colours, however I just didn't use the right technique. I am hoping that eventually I'll be able to pick this up again and just re-knit it with maybe a little bit less per colour so it's not as long, and also just changing up the design and making it into a ribbed scarf. Then in February I made this granny square flower vest. I think the design is really cute, the colours that I chose are really cute, however I have never worn it and it fits really weird and I'm not sure why I thought this would be a good project to make, to be honest. So I'm gonna just put this into, because I'm not sure what happened there. Then in February, I also made the Scooty, and this is the first one that we are going to put into 10 out of 10. This Scooty changed my life. It took my business, my socials, everything to the next level. It kind of went viral, which I didn't really realize that's how people saw it until people started ripping it off and titled it Viral Crochet Hood and something. And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess I went viral, and also please stop stealing my work. But anyways, I wear this all the time. I have made about 30-40 of them by now and sold them. So just note that throughout the year I made a lot of these. I'm not going to include it in the following months just because I don't have a lot else to say other than some of the colorways that I made were really nice. But yeah, I think this is probably the best thing I made in 2024. Straight up after a successful project, I have a big flop. I made this beige bucket hat based on this Pinterest photo that I've seen and loved for a while. It's not a total flop. I think I could see myself maybe wear it. However, it just, something about it isn't quite right. I don't know if I should have maybe made it longer or maybe not made it curl up so much and had it more as a bucket hat. You know, I can see what I was going for and it didn't turn out too bad. It's just not like amazing. I then also made a headband. I really want to be that kind of person who wears headbands, but for some reason I just can't really pull them off. I did really like the design of this, but I think I just made it too wide and just overall something's really off about it. I would put it in I see the vision, but honestly I don't know why I thought making a headband would be good for me, fully knowing my head shape. So it's gonna have to go into the fourth tier. February was busy. I also made this grey vest, which I attached some bows at the front. And look, it looks cute on the photo when I wear it. I just don't love it. I don't know. I have worn it backwards before to try and get more wear out of it, but something about it is just really odd. I don't actually know if I like the design. Like it was a good idea, and I remember at the start of 2024 I wanted to include more bow features into my work, and I guess this is one of the ways I tried to do it. The vest is too wide. I should have made it more of like a shoulder width, and the bows, just, I see the vision, I see what I was trying to achieve, but it just wasn't working. Then I believe in March I went to Germany, so I made some projects sort of on the go. I think I also had some yarn still left at my mum's, so I used that to create a scrunchie, which that just shows that I had absolutely no idea what I should be making instead. Honestly, I'm not sure what I thought about the colour choice. I think the yarn itself was already that colour. First of all, why did I buy this yarn? None of the colours complement me or something that I usually wear, so I kind of already went wrong right at the beginning when I bought this yarn. I've never worn this. It's not great. It's really not great. Things are looking up. During my trip to Germany, I also worked on this scarf from Wool and the Gang. I actually forgot what it's called. I'll try and show it here or link it in the description. This turned out really, really nice. The yarn that was included with the pattern, or like the knitting box, is really soft, really nice, and I loved wearing this when I was in Germany. I finished it on my way to a day trip to Amsterdam, and I wore it in Amsterdam, and I felt so cool. It was really nice. I sadly haven't worn it since then, which is terrible, and I am planning to get it back out when I'm sort of going through my wardrobe. So for that reason, it's going to go into never seen the light of day, just because I should have gotten more wear, really. Another whip that I finished was this granny square vest type thing. Originally, when I started this whip, it was meant to be a cardigan. However, I then ended up using some of that yarn for another project, so I didn't have the yarn left to make the arms. So instead, I turned it into a vest. The vest design looks strange. For some reason, I went through this phase of making all my vests really long, like falling off my shoulders, and it just looks really bad. Also, this is where I went wrong way back when I started this project. Why did I choose this like orangey, peachy colour? Does not work with my skin tone. Don't see why I thought I would ever wear this anywhere. And for that reason, I'm going to put this into To Be Frogged, because I don't really like anything about it apart from the main granny square. The problem with this is that it's mohair, so I can't actually frog it. I might try the freezing method where you freeze it for a bit and then the yarn is a lot easier to frog. I'll say that now. I'll probably never actually do that, and it's just going to end up in my whips pile. Okay, another fun project. I made my first ever cable knit jumper, and it was based on this design that I again saw on Pinterest, and I still really love that design. I'm still looking at these types of jumpers to create a similar one in the new year, so I still love the design. The only thing about the jumper that I made is I made the neckline too wide, so I'm hoping in the new year I'll have some time to pick up the stitches around the neckline and just scrunch it in a bit so it holds up a bit better on the shoulders. Because of that fitting issue, I haven't really worn it that much. I think I've worn it maybe a couple times, but hopefully when I make those fixes in the new year, I'll get a bit more wear out of it. Then I also made this patchwork jumper again on my knitting machine. I already had some of these striped patches ready from some previous projects, and then I made some more panels with the same yarn I had left over, and I added everything together and made it into one big jumper. And it does look really cute. I love the colours. I like the simple structure of it, but you guessed it, I have not worn it since. I don't think I've ever worn it once before. I was very tempted to sell it on my website. I took the photos for it, but then before I put it up for sale, I thought I'm gonna keep it for the new year, for springtime, and I'll see if I wear it in the spring. And if I don't wear it, then I'll sell it. So we're kind of halfway through the year now, and I'm starting to get a little bit uninspired, a bit unmotivated, and to really get me out of that funk, I thought, let's crochet something that I really enjoy wearing already. Headbands. What was I thinking? Literally, this was never gonna get me out of my funk. I made 3 different types of headbands, trying to like come up with some like original idea, and they all suck. They all look terrible. So they're all going into the frog tier. Not sure what I was thinking in the first place. They look really bad and I could really use that yarn for something more useful. To no surprise, I didn't get out of my funk, so I decided to stop knitting and crocheting for a little bit and just, you know, take a breather and hope the motivation and the inspiration finds me again. And as I took that breather, I started doodling, I started making some designs and turned it into a graphic tee. And this is the second thing that's going to go into the 10 out of 10. I originally made this t-shirt just for me to wear because I like oversized white tees, I like sort of band tee style, and I have always struggled with not being able to wear the things that I knit or crochet just out of like perfectionism or embarrassment, I don't know. But I still wanted to wear something that signals like my interests to other people. So I created the Granny Square Designs graphic tee and I made it available to buy, and it is still available to buy. You can get it as an oversized version or as a baby tee version. I came up with some other designs as well, but to be honest, this design was the best one out of all of them. It's my favorite. It seems to be everyone else's favorite. So yeah, it's crazy to think that I made this because I was in a knitting and crocheting funk. It just shows that sometimes it's good to take a break and just like be creative in other ways, because yeah, this was an amazing thing that I created out of that. Then I made my first raglan project, and for that I used a lot of scrap yarn. I can't remember what pattern I used for this. I'm so sorry. I wish I could share it. I believe with this I started using a pattern and then I kind of freehanded the rest. This actually was a gift for my mum's birthday. Because I personally have never worn it, I'm going to put it into Never Seen the Light of Day. I was back home not so long ago and she does wear it around the house, which makes me really happy and it looks really, really nice on her. Then I was definitely in my scrap yarn, colourful sort of moment. It was obviously summertime, so I think that was what inspired me a lot. And I made this crochet cardigan based on the diamond knitwear design. Now, the making of this was torturous. It took forever and ever and ever. However, the final result has to go into the top tier. I've worn this so much in the summer. This is exactly the type of cardigan that I was missing in my wardrobe and exactly the kind of thing that I should be making more of. Something that I get a lot of wear out of, that is practical but also looks cute, and it kind of fits in within the things that I already wear a lot. 10 out of 10. Loved this project. Then also in July, I did some more experimentation and I created this bandana. This I never really wore again. I think I made it a little bit too small. So I see the vision. I love the little eyelet lace design that I created, but unfortunately it just wasn't quite right. It needed to be a bit bigger. It also needed to be a bit stretchier. So yeah, maybe something that I need to work on in the future. I also made this grey plunge neck top out of like a linen-y, cottony sort of yarn, so it was perfect for the summer. And I actually do really, really like this. It, I think, looks really nice on me. However, I've only worn it once since then. Hopefully in the new year I'll get a bit more wear out of it, but until then it's only going to make the second tier for now. Then I made these crochet shorts and the matching bikini with it, following this pattern. I forgot the name, but I'll insert it here. The bikini was a big flop. I kind of knew this from the beginning. With having a larger chest, it is incredibly hard to crochet or knit anything sort of form-fitting around the chest area. So I already expected that not to work out, and that's absolutely fine. The shorts, however, I have worn so much. They do still need a little bit of adjusting. I also adjusted the pattern as I went along just to fit my figure a bit better, but it was really worth taking the time to sort of customize it a little bit. I've worn it so much, so for that reason it goes into 10 out of 10. Again, exactly the kind of thing that I was missing in my wardrobe, 100% something I'd like to sort of make more of in the new year. I was very much in my shorts era. I think it was quite hot at the time as well, so I was looking to make some very summery items. So I sewed this two-piece, which is very inspired by the Peachy Den two-pieces. I used this fabric that I got really, really cheap in a charity shop, and I kind of self-drafted just based on some shorts that I already had. Now looking back, I haven't got a clue how I did it in the end. I just kind of made it up as I went. I really love this. The shorts are a little bit wonky. The top I haven't worn, I don't think. That's a lie. I wore it when I took this photo and I went out for the day. But other than that, I haven't. However, the shorts I have worn a couple times. I do really like them with like an oversized shirt. I haven't worn these as much as the crochet shorts, so I'm not really sure what tier to put them on because I don't think I've worn and loved them enough to be in the 10 out of 10 tier. But I have worn the shorts, so they have seen the light of day. Maybe I will put it in I see the vision. Maybe it does deserve in the 10 out of 10. It is a very impressive project that I made. Yeah, it's locked in. We'll keep it in there. In August, I kind of, again, took a little bit of a break just in terms of making things for me. I think July was very busy with all the shorts and stuff that I made. So in August, I made some baby clothes because a friend of mine had her little girl in November. So for her baby shower, I wanted to make her some little things. And the first thing I made was this cute little striped cardigan based on the pattern by Josephine Dyring. The pattern was really easy to follow, and I just used this cotton yarn from Sistrine Grene. And yeah, I think it turned out all right. I kind of messed up the buttonholes a little bit, and I think the armholes are a bit too tight as well. This one's a bit harder because obviously I would personally have never worn it anyways, but I'm going to put it into Never Seen the Light of Day just because I don't know how wearable it actually is for my friend's baby, and because there are a few things that I could have improved on and made it a bit more wearable. The next thing I made for her was also based on a Josephine Dyring pattern, and this is going to go straight into 10 out of 10. First of all, I really enjoyed making this pattern. I love the use of color, the stripes. I think it looks adorable. It actually made me think maybe I should have a baby just so I can make it loads of these cute little jumpsuits. I just think it's the cutest thing. Whenever Josephine now posts about like her baby in the jumpsuit, I'm desperate to make another one. So if any of my friends and family could please have a baby, I would happily make you a jumpsuit. Then in September, I think I was getting ready for the cozy season because I started just randomly freehanding this jumper. Originally, I wanted it to be a vest, but I realized that I made it too wide or something. I'm not sure. Maybe I learned my lesson from the earlier projects in the year where I made my vests way too wide. So I turned it into this jumper, and it is really cute. I have worn it a couple times. However, it is slightly too short, so maybe in the new year I'll find the time to undo the bottom ribbing and just add another panel of stripe. I can't say that this project has like blown me away, but it has been quite wearable. It fits in really well with my wardrobe. Once I add a bit more length in, I'm able to wear it with some of my sort of lower waisted jeans as well. So yeah, it's gonna go straight into 10 out of 10. Then I finally made this Loftcraft scarf pattern, which I've been eyeing up for the last couple of winters, and I finally made it. I actually didn't end up purchasing the pattern. I kind of just copied the photo and made it up. It was fairly quickly and easy to work up. However, I just wish I chose a slightly different red tone because it's too vibrant for me. I haven't really worn it that much. Also mainly due to the fact that at the moment I really like a smaller scarf, which is why I've been loving wearing the Scooty, just because you can tuck it in. So I think just out of practicality, I haven't worn it, so it's gonna go into the second tier. Then in October, I worked on this raglan garter stitch striped cardigan, and I had high hopes for this. I made a whole design, I thought about the colours. However, the final result just isn't very wearable for me for some reason. Something about the shape is off. I wish I didn't make this into a raglan, but more of just like a normal like boxy shape. The colours, I should have chosen one darker color to give it a bit more contrast. I think it just looks a bit too washed out, and this actually isn't a bad thing, but to me wearing this, it feels like it should be a baby's cardigan, which is weird because if I could wear that baby's jumpsuit, I 100% would, because I think that's amazing. But yeah, something about this cardigan is really strange, and it is interesting because this year I really wanted to focus on using colors that I very much align with, that are already in my wardrobe and I really enjoy wearing, which is I love wearing a lot of blue tones. I think blue really suits me, so I thought this would be great, but it just doesn't feel great wearing it. I don't know. So I'm gonna put it into I see the vision. I see what I was trying to do here. I was creating texture with the garter stitch. I was making a striped cardigan because, as you can see in my top row, I love stripes. I used the correct colors, but maybe it was the raglan that threw it off, or maybe the colors just weren't rich enough. Something about it didn't quite work. Then we're actually coming to an end with November, and I wanted to replicate actually this cardigan that I'm wearing because it was my sister's birthday in December and I wanted to recreate this cardigan to gift her. However, I for some reason thought I'd use a different yarn. For this one I used an acrylic and I wanted hers to be in wool, so it would just be higher quality. Silly old me didn't do a proper swatch that was blocked, so I made this entire cardigan, blocked it, and then it shrank. I'm still recovering from that loss. I'm actually working on a pattern for this, and I think maybe the way that I made this cardigan, I freehanded this like 2 years ago when I wasn't a very good knitter yet. I obviously just did whatever felt right, and some of the number of stitches and rows doesn't actually make sense now that I'm replicating it, so I think it needs a little bit more work. So for that reason, I put it into I see the vision clearly because I'm wearing it. I just got some of the measurements wrong. I should have done a swatch. So then at the end of November / start of December, I started working on a second cardigan, sort of following the calculations and instructions that I've written down when I made the previous one. I have a feeling that this one is actually too big and too wide, so I'm still debating whether I will frog everything that I've made and start again. I've actually reordered this yarn in a grey colour. I'm still going to make my sister the cardigan. I'm going to make it in this yarn so it looks exactly the same as this, and then I might try and redo my maths so I'm actually able to make this cardigan with the wool yarn as well. I'll also put this to I see the vision just because I do see the vision. I know what I want out of this project. I just can't get the calculations right. Fortunately, in December, I haven't done that much just due to the house move and the renovation process. But I think this has been a pretty successful year. I'm actually surprised that there is 7 things in my top tier. It's a lot more than I expected. I thought maybe 3 things would make that tier. This chart is so good for me to look at for when I plan my 2025 projects because I can literally just look at the bottom 2 tiers and no more headbands, no more weird scrunchies, and no more vests. Those are the 3 things actually that I can see from that. And then I'll have a little think about my top tiers. This was fun. Thank you for watching. I now actually have to get off this bed and take it apart so we can move it into the new house. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you next week for a 2025 plans overview. Very excited for that. Yeah, I'll see you then. Goodbye.